So we have a problem in the industry today. You want to know what that is? If you ask the users, they're going to say fees are too high. I'm sick and tired of trying to jump into all this cool Ethereum stuff, dApps, DeFi, all this, and it's way too expensive for me to get in. If you go talk to developers, they're going to say interoperability, right? Like there's so many different projects. What do I build on? I selected one and some new modern system comes out later that's far better. And now I'm stuck with legacy code on a legacy platform. We have problems in the crypto space. In today's video, I'm going to go back into a project that's fixing, or at least attempting to fix, a lot of these challenges, addressing high user fees, addressing interoperability problems, and why some new updates to this system is going to make a difference for those that choose it. My friends, we're talking about Nervos Network CKB. We're jumping back into that project today, and I'm going to cover some of the updates that I think are really personally exciting. So don't go away. All of this and a whole bunch more coming right up. All right, YouTube friends, thank you guys so much for joining. Hey, as we get started, many of you probably don't know this, but I used to work in Mayfield, Kentucky when I was a banker. I have a lot of friends and family that are there. I know some people that have lost their homes from the tornadoes that happened earlier this week. It's really heartbreaking. And I wanted to use this channel as a platform to do good in this world. And I've never done this before, but today I want to share with you a way that you can help. One of the best ways that you can help these displaced folks that are literally without homes, without jobs, without cars. I mean, they literally have gone into complete destitute conditions. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And many of you may want to know, how can you help? Well, I wanted to share one charity here that I know personally. This right here is Convoy of Hope. And man, they are doing some awesome work. I wanted to share this with you. If you're looking for an opportunity to give, to get involved, I would love for you to check them out. One of the greatest privileges of me having a YouTube channel with many, many thousands of followers is the privilege of being able to use that to make the world a better place. And so there's a lot of places that you can give. You can go over to just search on Google for how to give with Mayfield tornadoes. But I did want to let you know, this is one charity that I have already given to, and I love what they're doing, and I know some of the people that are there involved. In fact, many of them actually come out of the Joplin tornadoes that happened back in 2011, and so they understand how horrible and how terrible this situation is. And so I just wanted to pause in my channel and give you an opportunity. I will put a link in the description down below if you're interested in giving, or if you want to give to Red Cross or any of the other charities that are out there. I would really encourage you to do that. All right, so jumping back into today's video, one thing you can do for me, like, subscribe, share this out with friends. It really does go a long way. Also, check out merch. We've been talking about this for a while. That's super cool. That's out there. Love for you to check that out if it's right for you. Let's just jump right into the Nervos news. So, you know, one of the things that Nervos is trying to challenge is address these challenges, is probably the better way to say it, of both the user side of high fees and the developer side of interoperability challenges, right? We're still in this, I would say, early era of crypto. See, a lot of people don't, one of the reasons, let me say it this way, one of the reasons I'm so interested continuously in cryptocurrency is because of how game-changing the technology is. And I had the privilege of growing up and seeing the internet come out and emerge as a kid using it, and see it grow from like this challenging way to connect, running like terminal commands and PPP commands, all this kind of stuff, just to jump onto a bulletin board. And I remember doing that in like early high school, and people were like, what's the point of that, man? Like, the internet's worthless. It's just dumb. You connect to some like individual like website. You're not even getting on the internet. And then I remember like extended services like AOL and Prodigy coming out that let you have even wider access. And then finally the internet branching out and becoming this thing that's embedded into every device, our phones, everywhere we go. You watching this today, and we don't even think about the internet itself. It's sort of like abstracted into the background. Crypto's nowhere near that. We still have individual projects solving individual things that are still siloed, that become legacy. And people have this question all the time of, why are there so many projects that are out there? You know, they can't all win, and one is going to have to be the best. And you guys know on this channel, I'm always telling people, abstract away winners and losers. It's not like there's one crypto to rule them all and everything else will fall apart. This is technology. And for technology to flourish, one of the things that we need is interoperability, the ability for one innovative technology to leverage the innovations off another one so that they can both grow in a symbiotic way. This is something that we're missing in crypto. We're getting there, but it's a long way to go. So if I had to assign an era of technology, like you look at computers, for example, I would say that crypto is still in the era of the 70s or the 80s, right? We have individual projects that don't work well with others. We have scale and complexity challenges and cost problems. We have a lot of challenges around confusion, users still learning this whole world, and there's not a lot of safety in the world, all of these different kinds of things that are in crypto. And so that's why I kind of think we're in the 70s, 80s era. You remember mainframes back in the old days, and mainframes were monolithic, and one would not work with another one, and they're extremely expensive and don't, again, no interoperability at all. That's where a lot of crypto is at today. Fortunately for us, Nervos knows this. And I've been following Nervos for a little while. By the way, this is not a sponsored post. I know 0 people at Nervos. I am not being paid to sponsor or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just covering because I think this is a great and interesting project. And one of the things that they've mentioned is that their new EVM layer 2 solution has arrived. They call it Godwoken. I don't quite know what that means. Does that mean the Nervos God is woken up? I have no idea. I should probably look into that. But anyway, Godwoken is live, and I think it's pretty interesting. And so they call it their EVM compatible layer. And when I think compatible, I immediately go into, again, remember the early days of technology when we were talking about IBM compatible machines? I think it was Compaq, who's now dead. I think they were bought out, was the very first company to take compatibility in an IBM world and replicate that so that they could offer parts and services and quality of product at a lower cost versus IBM and extend it to everybody. And that's really what made the whole IBM compatible world flourish. It wasn't just one company. And so Nervos has always been about this. They've always been trying to do this. If you scroll down here, and I'm not going to do a full review on Nervos. If you want to see it, just Google or search on my YouTube channel for Nervos, and it'll come right up. You'll be able to see my original review on them. But the idea is interoperability, the capability for you to be able to use other blockchains, like for example, Cardano, and be able to bridge across and use Nervos to do that. Also the ability to port, and this is probably what we're going to talk about more today, the ability to port your applications. That's pretty exciting stuff too. So if you want to see more about what's happening here with Godwoken, here it is right here. This is kind of their site. If you're a developer, you can hit apply now. But I want to talk about why this is a big deal for developers, which will then bleed into average everyday retail users like you and me on this channel as well. So first of all, it's an EVM compatible layer 2 solution, but it's built on Nervos's layer 1. In other words, Nervos itself is just like Ethereum that runs dApps, runs smart contracts, all that kind of stuff as a layer 2 stuff on top of Ethereum. Think of Nervos as the same thing, but rather than trying to compete with Ethereum, like many projects are doing, like trying to be the Ethereum killer, Nervos is like, no, it's not what we're trying to do. Let Ethereum do what it does, but it struggles at layer 2 because it's extremely expensive. It can't handle the high transactions, and that's a challenge, but it's robust, and so many different projects and DeFi apps have been built on top of it. So the idea for Nervos is to say, hey, look, we'll be the layer 1 solution, and then you can take all that awesome stuff that's happening with Ethereum, and you can run that in our network instead, which is lower fees and better scale, all of that kind of stuff. So that's really what this EVM compatible solution is. They call it an opportunistic roll-up. And one of the things that I think is pretty cool here is, they say, if you're interested, if you've got an Ethereum project that you're running, you can port it over to Nervos via the Godwoken platform, the layer 2 Godwoken platform. So they call it, secure. It's inherently multi-chain compatible. That's a pretty awesome thing because, as we know, there are many times that you want to bring in users of other ecosystems. And I think they're already working with, I mentioned Cardano, I think they're working with Polkadot, a whole bunch of others that are already out there. And what is really neat about this is this right here, right? So it's super flexible and it allows you, I like this, what they talk about here, this utilizing advanced account abstraction. So what that means for an individual user is they care less, right? Like their experience is fluency. everything just kind of works. It doesn't, you don't have to like do this complicated transaction between this platform and that one. As a developer, you can literally take those cross-chain assets, those like Ethereum 20 contracts and tokens that are already deployed and just move them directly over to Nervos. That's pretty awesome stuff. So right now they are in beta. Anyone can apply and use it. It's whitelisted, but that's just right now while they're testing the mainnet to make sure everything works. And so I think that's really pretty awesome. And I'm a really big fan of what Nervos is doing because it's bringing forward to us as users the ability to say, look, I'm not here to pick winners. I just want to use the applications that are great for me, whether it's DeFi, whether it's like some kind of NFT thing, whether it's gaming, whatever the use case may be. And I don't care so much about the back end of all of it. Like think about for me getting on the internet. I don't care what ISP I use. I don't care what like hardware routers that ISP is purchasing to get me on the internet. I don't care about all that. I just want to get on the internet. And Nervos is really kind of coming along with that, saying that's what we're trying to do is bring extensibility and flexibility to the end user that incentivizes with low fees, with good scale, and lets developers just be able to develop and bring forward a platform that works well for everyone. And that way the end users don't really have to pick a winner. They don't have to worry about all of this. And so I think that is really awesome. The last thing I wanted to do is take a quick peek at the tokenomics so we can just catch ourselves back up with what's happening. So it's currently at 2 cents. Fully diluted 700 million, but a $586 million market cap. You guys know I talk oftentimes about these sub $1 billion market caps. I think they're interesting. Never listen to a YouTuber like me for financial advice. If you listen to any YouTuber, you're gonna go broke. So make your own wise financial decisions. I say that on all my videos, but I do think that's pretty important. So we can take kind of a peek at what's been happening. Let's actually do like a year to date. So I'd have to go back and look at the very first time I produced a Nervos video, but man, it's been pretty volatile in its price over time. But I do think it's going to be one because of its capabilities and its interoperability. That's a huge checkbox for me of the things that I like to look at. And so, it may be a great investment if you're looking to jump into this particular platform. We can also see, a lot of volume really did die down during those cold months, just like all crypto projects, but it looks like it's slowly been gaining steam and momentum once again, which I wouldn't be surprised by given the buzz around what's happened with Godwoken. And also once it really begins to take effect and go out of like the whitelisting testing phase of mainnet into full release, hopefully we'll see a lot of new incentivizations behind all of this. And by the way, the token itself is also called, let me go back to Nervos and I'll show you this. Just so you know this, the token itself is called CKB, CK Byte. It should be pretty easy for you to buy if you're looking to get into it. I think you can get it on Coinbase. You can check my links down below. If you've never gotten on Coinbase, Voyager, or any of those other places, you can certainly use that to sign in and you can see more about what CKB is doing. But I'm not going to cover all that simply because in my very first video, I really dove more into the mechanics and tokenomics of Nervos. So there you have it. I think it's a great project. It's really exciting to see what happens with the whole Godwoken layer 2 EVM compatible solution that's released on top. I really do think we're going to see a lot of Ethereum developers that already have some great stuff that they've written be able to just sort of cross move that directly over to Nervos. I think that's good for everyone involved. All right, guys, I'd love to know what you think about this. I'd love to know what you think about Nervos as a whole. Is this a project you're following? Do you like it? Leave me some comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, thank you guys so very much.